In today's Sci Friday, we take a look at science stories all around the web. And today's big question, would you like to live to be 1,000 years old? Well, one Cambridge researcher says that's the first person to live to be that old has likely already been born. Of course, this will take significant medical advances. That researcher, not the only one fighting against old age and disease. Dr. Sergio Canavero believes a head transplant, are you ready for this, can happen by 2017.
This was no ordinary doctor. He was a brilliant American neurosurgeon who believed that perhaps had he been able to transplant the healthy head of his friend, unscathed by the cancer, on a healthy donor body, he would have saved his life.
The doctor's procedure to do the first human head transplant would take 100 surgeons and over 36 hours. It's still a few years away from being possible, but the doctor, believe it or not, already has a first patient. There he is right there, Valery Spiridonov. He suffers from an incurable disease that causes muscular atrophy. Ever wonder what it's like to walk in space? Well, take a look at this. Pretty cool. NASA just released this footage to show what it's like being an astronaut in orbit. In February and March, 2 astronauts brought GoPro cameras with them on spacewalks to the space station. Needless to say, the footage is out of this world.
Yes, and I
never get sick of that.
Never get sick of that stuff. And, you know, GoPro, this is not a paid endorsement for them, but where those cameras have gone and where they've taken a lot of folks, millions of people can now see that and what it's like to be on a spacewalk. It's incredible to see that footage. And also, interesting stuff there. A head transplant.
It sounds like something out of Frankenstein, but this is a real story. We're going to get to some stories, and you can decide whether or not they're real or fake. But that one is actually real. Talking about doing it, I think was more, well, that's unbelievable. But the fact that he thinks he can do it by 2017.
That's right around the corner.
Right around the corner.
We've already had a face transplant done, and we were all kind of talking about how that would work. We'll have to see what happens, but that's interesting stuff. Thanks for that, Miranda. Let's shift gears now. I want to talk about some folks who are making a difference in maybe a little bit kind of different kind of way. We call this our personal impact segment. First up, we're going to talk about Masters champion Jordan Spieth. He's predicting victory all the way back when he was a teenager. A letter that he wrote recently surfaced. That letter was sent to a family who funded a scholarship so that he could pay his high school tuition. In that letter, he writes, quote, "I am ranked the #1 junior golfer in the country. My dream is to play professionally and win the Masters. The dream of a 15-year-old, now a reality." He's 21 years old, and it just goes to show you nothing bad can happen from writing a handwritten thank you note, something I certainly didn't do enough as a kid, and I always regretted that. Now, let's move on to one last hurrah for a local hero. That hero's name is Zeus. Zeus is a K-9 officer who was honored with one last trip through his hometown of Connecticut, and I believe this is Ridgefield, Connecticut. He served bravely and honorably for years, working side by side with a patrolman. The town came out to salute him one last time. These are pictures from the New Times local paper there. The German Shepherd was walking the beat, as it were, here one last time before he was euthanized for a degenerative hip disorder. And if you ever get a chance to go to a police funeral for one of those dogs, it is just like the police officer saying goodbye to a real patrolman. Actually, they are real patrolmen, I should say that too. Now, moving on, each year, Brides Across America gives out about 2,000 dresses to the fiancés of service members across our country. The organization actually gives the gowns away for free. The group was started by Air Force Captain Kim French, and after she and her Marine pilot fiancé were struggling to find her wedding gown on a tight budget while being deployed, well, she started this organization. And again, now 2,000 of these dresses being distributed for the fiancés of service members.
I love it. What a great concept.
You know, it's always good to see, too, the pictures of military weddings.
Oh, yeah. Have you ever been in one?
I've never been in one, and I don't know if I've ever actually attended one, but I have some friends who got married, including some college friends who actually went on to join the Army, and seeing their wedding pictures. One of those classic
it's awesome.
things.
I was in one with one of my good friends, Christina Pravat, and her husband is an Army Ranger, and it was so cool because all the groomsmen came out in their uniform. They did this sword salute thing, and it was beautiful.
And anybody who's seen American Sniper 2, the wedding scene in that movie, you know, good stuff there. All right, we're going to move ahead here. Now get ready to laugh as we bring you top of the news, some headlines, and some punchlines from your favorite late-night talk shows.
Plus, can you tell what news is real and what's fake? Well, we'll let you decide. I'll put my co-host here to the test in our next segment coming up right after the break. Stay tuned. You're watching Newsmax Now.